Hello and good day. My name is Chris Palmer with ChrisPalmerMarketing.com for any and all of your SEO needs. Now, in today's on-page SEO video, I'd like to share with you a very high-impact practice that you can start deploying today in order to start seeing results this week. Now, I always get asked, Chris, how can I quickly, easily, and cheaply start deploying a particular practice that is going to allow me to start getting a ranking advantage over my competitors? Well, this, my friends, is going to be one of them. So what I did is I actually took this from Google patent itself, talking about anchor text and how it is handled and how it is understood by the search engine, by Google. And I want to go ahead and highlight some very specific pieces that will help you understand anchor text and how you can utilize it to your advantage so you can understand it just like I do. So let me go ahead and read this to you. It will all make sense by the end of this. And if you stick with me, I'll even share with you a quick and easy tool, Chrome extension that you can utilize in order to start deploying this for yourself. Quickly, easily, fast, and cheap. So let me go ahead and share this with you. I read directly from the patent, and it reads, "The text of links is treated in a special way in our search engines. Most search engines associate the text of a link with the page that the link is on. In addition, we associate it with the page that the link points to, page that it's on, and the page that it links to. This has several advantages. First, anchors often provide more accurate descriptions of web pages than the pages themselves. Anchors often provide more accurate descriptions. Okay, this is key information here, of web pages than the pages themselves. Second, anchors may exist for documents which cannot be indexed by text-based search engines, such as images, programs, and databases. This makes it possible to return web pages which have not actually been crawled. That pages that have been crawled can cause problems since they never checked for validity before being returned to the user. In this case, the search engine can even return a page that never actually existed but had hyperlinks pointing to it. However, it is possible to sort the results so that this particular problem rarely happens. The hyperlink or the anchor text is so powerful that it can even return pages that have never even been seen and never even came up, right? Not even a page. This idea of propagating anchor text to the page was implemented in the World Wide Web form Mac Byron 94, especially because it helps search non-text information and expands the search coverage from fewer downloaded documents. We use anchor propagation mostly because anchor text can help provide better quality results. Let's point that out. We use anchor propagation mostly because anchor text can help provide better results. Using anchor text efficiently is technically difficult because of the large amounts of data which must be processed in our current crawl of 24 million pages. We had over 259 million anchors which we indexed at the time of when this particular patent was. Now, how does this apply to you? Understanding this piece of information, how does it apply to you? And how is this highly impactful for you and your campaigns? And how can you deploy this? We know that anchors often provide a more accurate description than just the pages themselves. We also know that anchor text is treated specially, right? It's given more weight. We also know that anchor text makes something more relevant than text itself. And we also know that relevance equals rank. So if we know three things now, right? One, anchor text is weighted differently, right? What I mean by weighted is it's treated differently. It's weighted differently. It's given more. If your web page is a gallon of milk and there's 100 lines on that gallon, right? Anchor text on that page takes up 2 lines where the words would only take up 1. This is just an example, right? This is what I mean by this. So what I'm saying is it's weighted differently. It has more weight than just text, okay? And anchor text on the page has more weight. 2, what else do we know? Well, we also know that anchor text gives a more accurate description of the page, okay? So we know 1, the anchor text is weighted differently. We know too that anchor text gives a more accurate description of the page, right? And we know that relevance equals rank. And I'll even add that in here. Relevance equals rank, right? When we start talking about entities and LSI, okay? You with me so far? So if we know about entities and LSI, these are common words that are often talked about when talking about a specific topic, right? So if I can incorporate that with my new knowledge of anchor text, now I can make a page have higher weighting against my competitors, right? Be more relevant than my competitors. And I can know how I can force feed more relevance into the page. I can use anchor text, and then I can use entities and LSI in the anchor text. Ding, 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 along with keywords, right? But let's add one more here. So the other piece here is search engines associate text with the page that it is linked to and on. Okay, Google will most search engines associate the text of a link with the page that it is on. In addition, we associate it to what the page links to. So they can actually associate topics with each other based upon what they're linked to. Okay, and the reason why I'm covering this, topics on links, and this one here is what most people understand. Okay, we're associating relevance between links, right? And relevance goes beyond just text. I'm trying to give you a deeper understanding of how you can get higher rankings simply by just looking and analyzing competitors' on-page anchor text and how you can add more anchor text to your page and make your page more relevant. You know, I often go through this with clients. When we're analyzing, we have a page. And here's the tips that I want to give you. All right, we have a page. On that page, there is text. Okay, there's tons of text. On that page, we're going to say that there are 2,637 words. All right. The competitor on that page has, out of these words, they have 20 words hypertext, right? Or hyperlinks, aka anchor text. So they have 20 words on that page that are actually a hyperlink. But out of those 20, 5 of them are outbound. All right, so 5 of those links are outbound. 5 of those hyperlinks or those anchor texts on the page are outbound links. Well, we know we want to count those as, okay, well, how many external links, A tags, do they have that are actually going to be an authority site, right? Because we want to match and mirror that. Where people sometimes when I'm talking with clients or maybe when I'm explaining to you is I don't have to necessarily link to another page. And I don't necessarily have to link off of my page. I can link to my page. I can build a link that points to myself because I know that A, the anchor text is weighted differently. I can give more relevance to a specific page. B, anchor text gives a more accurate description of the page. Relevance equals rank. I can apply more relevance to a page, a hyper-specific page. And 4, it associates topics based on links. That's why I'm allowed to do it, and that's why it's not a penalty, and that's why when I do it, I get a higher ranking. So how do you do it for yourself? That's what you want to know, right? I don't always have to internally link to other pages. Yes, it's a very good idea. You're going to want to do that. But let's say we're competing in a particular SERP. Here's how you do it for yourself. Let's say I'm competing in a SERP. Let's say, for instance, that I am here. We're going to come over here. Let's say I want to win, I don't know, personal injury lawyer, San Francisco. Here we go. Personal injury, San Francisco. Only looking anchor text in this video. So how do I get a competitive advantage against my competitors? Well, you go to the top 3 to 5 competitors. Only going to do one just for sake of, we go to the very first person. We're utilizing a tool. You can use any tool you want, but for this video, what I'm using to count the internal anchors only, the A tags. What we're looking at here, you can use SEO Meta in one click, or you can use SEO Pro extension by Marketing SERP. There's tons of tools that do this, but these are the 2 that I have right now that we're using right this second. So you take a look at this page right here. We're looking at links, internal links. This is counting every A tag on the page. Now, how we can get a competitive advantage is, okay, top performers have, well, how many internal links do they have? Well, when we take a look here, why don't we just export this list right here? We'll bring it over here. We'll come into here. We're going to go in. And what we're looking for is we want to know how many optimized A tags are on the competition's pages. How many optimized A tags? Regardless of where they point, doesn't matter. I run into this so much with clients and with other people I'm talking to. Doesn't matter. Google doesn't care. It's a number crunch on a page-by-page basis. Your page versus their page. They don't care where it points. They want to know how many A tags, just like they want to know how many words, just like they want to know how many external links are pointing in, just like they want to know how many headings, how many paragraphs, how many sentences, how many periods, how many everything. It all matters. This is one piece that I have found that I want to help you with. Dramatically increases the chances of you ranking a page by adding anchor text, A tags, most notably optimized A tags. All right, bear with me here. So we take a look at the page now, and we want to know, okay, this is just the top performer. I advise that you take a look at the top. We're taking a look at the page. This is just A tags, hyperlinks. Doesn't matter where they go. How many A tags do they have on the page? That's first and foremost. But what really matters is how many A tags are optimized. So remember, the primary keyword that we're trying to win, personal injury lawyer San Francisco. It's a 5-word phrase. Right? So how many A tags do they have that contain any of those words? That's an optimized A tag. So here, let's take a look here. As we can see here, here's the anchor text. So we're looking for personal injury lawyer San Francisco. 6 words. Looking down the list. Boom, 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 boom. Personal, 1, 2, 3. Different word, but it contains our key phrase, personal injury lawyer, right? Personal, right? You get what I'm doing here. Anything that contains the word personal, the word injury, the word lawyer, the word San, the word Fran, the word Cisco. Any A tag that contains that amount of headers, mark that down. Now you know the amount of optimized A tags that you have to beat in order to get a competitive advantage. Now, if we go back to our sheet when we were explaining this together, I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense to you? Pulled the math from the top 5 guys. We're seeing how many A tags do they have. The next thing that we need to figure out is, well, how many optimized A tags do they have? Once we know that, we can optimize higher than they are. But now there's even more there's even more sauce we can throw on top of that. Like, this is dry rub and it tastes good, but it's not like a saucy rib, you know what I'm saying? So here's how you get it real saucy and real delicious, all right? This is how you double bake and get it extra, right? Let me share that with you. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come down into here, and when we're analyzing competitors, go back to this sheet. You can read it right from the patent. It's black and white. I pulled this directly from the patent, right from Google. Relevance equals rank, right? We know this for a fact. Make what is just as relevant as a keyword, an entity, person, place, or a thing, and also what is also just as good as a keyword, LSI terms, co-occurring key phrases. So we're also looking for those inside of A tags. So we also want to deploy those into our A tags. So if we know that the leading competitor has 239 A tags on their page total, but out of that 239, they have 63 that are optimized, we're going to add 80 that are optimized that contain the primary keyword, entities, and LSI. And if you run out of pages to outbound link or internally link to, you can link to yourself. Because what you're going to find is that top performing websites, especially in harder niches, boatload of internal links. Tons! And just because, don't let that name deceive you. Just because the name is internal link doesn't mean that I have to internally link to another page. You can link to yourself to get the count. Google doesn't care. Tested this in multiple times, at least 4 times. So I know this for a fact. I'm giving you this. I'm trying to help you out. My name is Chris Palmer. If there's anything else I can do for you, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you out. I'd love to share some more math with you. If you're interested in the tests that we run, SEOmastermind.org. You want us to work with you, ChrisPalmerMarketing.com. Or if you just want to ask me a question, ask in the section below. And of course, I love you. Thank you for your time. And I look forward to seeing you in the next internal link building on-page SEO tips that will make a high impact on your rankings. Have a blessed day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.